Psoriasis and work. The burden nobody in the office sees. You chose the long sleeves again this morning. You positioned yourself away from the window. You shook hands and hoped nobody looked too closely. This is not vanity. This is what psoriasis costs at work, every single day. And it is almost never talked about. Research shows that up to 1 in 3 people with psoriasis reports that their condition has directly affected their career. Not their skin, their career. Promotions avoided, opportunities declined, jobs not applied for because the role involved too much visibility. 1 in 3. And that number only captures what people are willing to admit in a survey. 4 things: the hidden professional cost, why it stays invisible, what the workplace actually does to psoriasis, and how to protect yourself on both fronts. Let's start with what the research actually shows about psoriasis in professional life, because most people experiencing this have never seen it named clearly. Psoriasis patients are significantly more likely than the general population to report reduced productivity at work, not because of physical limitations, but because of the cognitive and emotional load of managing a visible condition in a professional environment. Every client meeting you mentally prepared for by choosing what to wear. Every presentation where part of your focus was on keeping your hands still. Every networking event you left early because the lighting was too bright. That preparation and management is invisible labor. It does not show up on a performance review. It shows up in your energy levels at the end of the day. There is a specific term for this in occupational health research: presenteeism. Being physically present at work while operating below your actual capacity because of a health condition. Psoriasis patients score significantly higher on presenteeism measures than the general working population. Not because they are less capable, because they are spending cognitive resources on skin management that colleagues with clear skin never have to think about. Presenteeism, showing up, but not fully there. The professional situations that carry the most weight for psoriasis patients follow a consistent pattern. Client-facing roles, sales, consulting, healthcare, hospitality, where the body is part of the professional presentation. Handshakes, physical proximity, visible skin, leadership visibility, presentations, panel discussions, video calls where faces and hands are prominent. Physical environments, bright offices, open-plan seating, summer dress codes, company events and warm venues. Each of these is a situation where psoriasis moves from a private condition to a potentially public one. And the anticipation of that transition, not the transition itself, is what drives the behavioral changes that affect professional performance. The most significant career impact of psoriasis is not what happens in the workplace. It is what never happens because of it. The conference you did not attend, the promotion you did not pursue because the new role involved more client contact, the opportunity you let pass because the timing aligned with a flare, and you did not trust how your skin would look by the date. These are the decisions that compound quietly over years. Each individual decision seems reasonable in the moment. Collectively, they represent a career trajectory that bent away from where it might have gone. The biggest professional cost of psoriasis is not what people see. It is what you never tried. Now, the other side of this, what the workplace does to psoriasis. The professional environment is one of the most consistent psoriasis trigger environments that exists, and most patients have never mapped the specific connections. Stress is the most documented workplace psoriasis trigger. Chronic occupational stress, the kind that comes from deadlines, performance pressure, difficult relationships, and job insecurity, directly activates the same immune pathways that drive psoriasis flares. Cortisol dysregulation from sustained workplace stress amplifies the inflammatory cycle. Air conditioning is the second trigger most people never identify. Offices running cold, dry air for 8 hours strip the skin barrier continuously throughout the working day. Patients who have well-controlled psoriasis at home frequently experience workplace-specific flares they cannot explain until they track the air quality correlation. Artificial lighting, fluorescent specifically, does not trigger psoriasis directly, but disrupts sleep quality when exposure is sustained throughout the day. Disrupted sleep, as we covered in the sleep video, directly worsens the overnight inflammation cycle. And dress codes, tight collars, synthetic fabrics, formal shoes, physical friction and heat on psoriasis-prone skin throughout an 8-hour workday is a sustained low-grade trigger that compounds over weeks. What actually helps, practically and specifically? Workspace control where possible, natural light over fluorescent, a desktop humidifier at your workstation running during the day, a small fan if the office runs hot. These are not dramatic interventions. They are micro adjustments to the environment that reduce the trigger load your skin is carrying for 8 hours. The morning skin state matters more than most patients realize. How your skin arrives at work is determined almost entirely by what happened the night before. A consistent nightly treatment routine, applied in the repair window before midnight, means the skin barrier is stronger when it faces the office environment in the morning. You are not managing a flare at your desk. You are managing from a position of relative calm. On disclosure, this is the question almost every psoriasis patient in a professional environment eventually faces. There is no single right answer. But the research on workplace well-being consistently shows that patients who have at least one trusted colleague or manager who understands their condition report lower occupational stress scores and higher job satisfaction than those who manage entirely in silence. You do not need to disclose to everyone. You need to not be completely alone with it at work. You do not have to explain everything. You just cannot carry it alone. Managing psoriasis at work starts the night before. Nopsor was created around one principle. The skin's most powerful repair window is overnight. The two-step nighttime system clears the scale layer and delivers the full formula of coal tar, salicylic acid, and 8 natural herbs while you sleep. What you apply at night determines how your skin performs at work the next day. Steroid-free, trusted for over 20 years. NopsorUSA.com. If psoriasis has been quietly shaping your professional decisions, the clothes you wear, the opportunities you weigh, the energy you spend before you even sit down, you now have a name for what has been happening. That is not a small thing. Your career deserves your full attention, not half of it. This is part of a complete psoriasis education series on this channel, covering every type, every trigger, and every part of what it actually feels like to live with this condition. The playlist is linked below. New videos every week.